You just have to hear this. We have been traumatized generationally at this point, okay? And let's not even go back that far. Let's just go back 1,400 years. This lands us right around the time that slave ship Jesus arrived to the United States. And a lot of us got mixed in with other indigenous people who were already here. The things that have been recently coming up and happening to us lately is unfortunately a mirror reflecting our unconscious self back to us. Hear me out. The universe has become a black scrying mirror reflecting our unconsciousness back to ourselves. What does that mean? Well, some people who believe in the Biblios Helios, the book of the SUN, just in case you're still on a religious fence, that should have cleared up a lot of things for you, knowing that the name of that book is named after the sun, the one that we sun gaze with, to activate DNA now that we've awakened. Yes, that sun. Yes, all religions are astrotheological. Just put a pin there. If that's new for you and you don't know what I mean, that's okay, because the religious detox course that we have been putting together for the last few years is very close to being complete. I'm going to definitely be a guide so that we can cross over from 3D to 4D and 4D to 5 and beyond. I got you. Just ride with me in this mothership with this dark mother healing information. Okay? And I mean I'm going into the shadows. Okay? Since we were not aware of who we really were, of the enslavement over our souls, right? A lot of us didn't know. And because we didn't know, we became the oppressor. We took on the characteristics of the oppressor. Okay? So as parents, we became totalitarian, right? But I'm not even going to talk about our parents right now. Let's just talk about us. It's my way or no way, right? Or the highway. I brought you in this world and I'll take you out kind of thing. I don't like the way you dressing because, that's unacceptable. And whatever it is now, let's not go to extremes. We're just talking about people, children, exploring different things that they want to wear and colors and things like that. So if you happen to have been a little girl and your favorite color was blue like me, that could have been a problem for some people, because some people really, really are still holding on to blue means boy, even today in 2022. So you could have grown up and people could have said things to you that were a little offensive, because maybe you liked blue and you played with boys and liked to climb trees like I did. You got called a tomboy, which was really like a pre-K version of judging our sexuality and basically saying that this is the gender that you physically have. So these are the list of things on the planet that you are allowed to explore. Yeah, that's how we grew up, totalitarian. And so we became the oppressor. Whatever oppression we experienced, we began to re-traumatize our own children with, because we were unaware, right? And so as we have been walking deeper into the age of Aquarius, it's triggering us to see ourselves no matter what. Now in 2022, on the Gregorian calendar, when it began, Camson the Oracle told everybody what the guides had been telling her, which was that this was the year of primordial waters of NUN, which is why she changed every word that used to be new, N-E-W, to N-U, to conjure the power to be able to see ourselves in this black scrying mirror. Or if you freeze black primordial water, you get what? A black scrying mirror, right? And so your reflection, remember the narcissist? You remember the story of the narc, right? The narcissist. He was so in love with his reflection and he would just stare at himself, right? And it became a real issue and turned into a mental illness. If you don't know the story about the narcissist and the origins of that word and the story behind it, I highly recommend you go check that out because it is very enlightening. And may even help you discover some of the narcissistic traits that you have that maybe you were not aware of. Okay? See, I am the triple dark mother. So this is why these things that I'm explaining to you is touching you and causing you to feel something so deeply in a way that you can't even really make sense of it in your mind. It's something that you just feel in your soul. That's what the dark mother does. She helps to reconnect you with your solar power, okay? All right? So she can delve deep into your pain, even the things that you don't want to admit or remember that you have been through or done to someone else. She will help you do that. She is the divine mother who has come to reparent us. Now, when you are swimming in a kingdom that is created with primordial dark waters, who would you seek help from in that kingdom? Because it would seem that someone who maybe rules a desert wouldn't quite work for someone who rules in this kingdom, right? The frequency has shifted. So who do you consult on a spiritual level when you have been definitely made aware of your shadow aspects, your own personal abyss, your personal trauma, your shadows, the things you repress and hide, the things about you that you think make you unlovable, not a trustworthy person, even maybe a bad person. You might be stuck in the duality of good and bad, and you don't see the infinite things in between good and bad. Let's just say that you're there. The triple dark mother, mother, maiden, and crone, is the wisdom in which all creation was created. This is what you are feeling right now. So, we are all narcissistic in some shape, form, or fashion. The difference is some people are willing to see themselves. And when you are willing to see yourself, the primordial waters of NUN that has come to this planet to rebirth us by showing us the monsters inside of us that we try to avoid facing. And in the avoidance of facing these things about yourself, you become the oppressor. You become the bully, and you become the victimizer. You become the kind of person that says things to your children that you would never say to somebody else's child, and you find a way to justify it because your trauma is bubbling up now, and that's the universe way of letting you see the root of the inner critical dialogue that you have about your own self and how it branches out to the way you treat people that are closest to you. Oftentimes, most of us do not mistreat people that are not close to us. Most of the time, it's the people we feel more safe to be around, and that's usually our children and our spouses. So this is reflecting in family life right now on a whole other level. There are people who maybe were master avoiders, and now they're having to face the conflict that has been brewing within them, and now it's festering out. And this energy of the divine feminine, which is dark. Feminine is dark when we look at polarities, just as feminine is magnetism. So what's happening is, not only is the darkness inside of us projecting itself out to be reflected back to us so that we can make the connections necessary to know where to make upgrades in our lifestyle and to reset, right? As that is occurring, we are also becoming more magnetic, because the planet is more magnetic, because feminine energy is reigning supreme, baby. Let me tell you. So now we are beginning to realize that the things that we attract, it's because we are of a point of attraction that is in alignment to attract that, even if it's negative, sickness, disease, hatred, rage, oppressed anger where it turns into bitterness, resentments. The universe is like, okay, there used to be a grace for you, and we had a shield, and we would put the shield up, and you would shoot that energy out, and it wouldn't come right back to you. But y'all wanted to ascend, so no more shield. Oh, you just threw out another hateful thing. You just entertained another hateful thought towards your own self. You just said yes to something that you knew that you should have said no to, because it's going to get in the way of you being able to care for yourself. So we're not going to shield you. We're going to let that shit come back like a boomerang. Because guess what? The planet is more magnetic because it's more feminine. Magnetism means that you're going to attract what you are. Whatever you be is what comes. Whatever you perceive is what manifests. Right? And it's quick manifestation. And it's like, dang, shit just keep happening, because this is the way we are being body trained to deal with our shit. Yeah. And they have taken it really easy on us up to this point. But in my conversations in the last 2 weeks with them, it's getting more and more dire for us to do this soul work, and being able to TKO the ego, TKO the ego, we must sink into our heart space. And this is why the strategy of ego TKO, total knockout, not killing your ego, not the death of the ego. Your ego is beautiful. Your ego is powerful. Your ego has the ability to make things happen when you are trying to survive. But when you are thriving, when you are shifting into being able to create a reality that's based on you thriving, the ego must go to sleep. Okay? The ego is a small child, and children get really, really cranky when they don't rest. So sometimes we have to give our children melatonin because their energy is so high to balance them out to be able to rest. So this is the ego TKO strategy that we use. And look, if you question this power at this point, that's not because the power has not been exhibited to you. Okay, that's because it's something inside of you that is resistant to being able to shift into a higher frequency of what version of you is having this present experience. Okay, so with all of this being said, this was a lot. And this channel message is for the whole collective awakening. But for us to master this level, it will require us to scry into our personal shadow self. The year of 6222 is not here to destroy us. Even 6 is a feminine number. So this is here so that we can go from carbon-based beings to crystalline. We're shifting. We're going through a metamorphosis. Okay. So it seems that there is more tension and more stress in your life right now, that is a reflection of what has been stored inside of you that you were not able to face. And I know for some people this is difficult, but I will not speak truth because something is a tough red pill to swallow. I am committed to liberation of the soul from these many constructs that have placed us in spiritual concentration camps where we don't even know what our favorite color really is. Simple things like that. So if you still have a negative judgment on dark feminine energy, triple dark goddess energy, subconscious, unconscious abyss, there's no way to avoid any of this anymore. If you are listening to me right now, that means that this is a divine moment, that you have been called to be initiated into a truly higher level of consciousness, which can only happen when the roots go deeper so that the trees can grow bigger and higher. The ancient old ones have returned and they are inside of us. But if we do not nurture them and feed them, and if we spend more time feeding our ego, we will not experience what we know we should be experiencing now. And this causes cognitive dissonance. And you can't even tell the difference between your head and your heart. All you know is the amount of density, tension, and stress in life seems to be increasing. And you feel like you don't know what else to do. But honey, let me tell you, being able to reset your mindset, being able to detox the shame around the things that has bound us, that is how you find your purposes in this incarnation. And that is how you become truly free and liberated. And if indeed you have been bamboozled just as everybody else on this planet has, at this point, the assault on humanity is something that most people have been forced to face as well, whether they want to or not. Energy does not give a fuck about whether or not you want it. It's here. What are you going to do with it? Because it ain't going nowhere. We'll be rocking like this until 2029. Okay? There are people who, just to keep their jobs and feed their families, had to get vaccinated, and now they are having health issues, and they are pretty damn sure where it came from. Even if you've been living on a rock at this point now, the whole world knows that the government is not what we thought it was. That Big Pharma isn't what we thought it was. That food isn't what we thought it was. Baby, we've been off to see the wizard. And that curtain is being opened. When you walk through times like this, being judgmental towards the dark feminine in which all creation was created. The feminine principle is the true God, creator of all things. Okay? And by being judgmental toward anything that you have perceived as dark, that causes you to be judgmental to anything that you perceive as bad in your life as well. They are equal to each other. The more that you can love and embrace darkness, your own personal hard times and abyss, the more that you can be grateful for what you went through, because it showed you that you were more powerful and much stronger than you thought you were. Until you can really be grateful for that, you are going to judge darkness negatively. You are going to judge yourself in a negative way, because whenever your subconscious, unconscious self shows itself to you, you're going to perceive that as evil, bad, and darkness. And when you do that, you put resistance in the way of the very thing that you came here to have. That causes suffering on a level I can't encompass in this conversation, but we see it. So as the triple dark goddess, oracle of the Akash, I have no judgments towards anything. And every day I approach life with an open heart, so that any of my beliefs that are not serving me can be edited when needed, as I am being upgraded. The Mindset Reset Shame Detox Sacred Support Group was birthed from this place. And hear me when I say this. We are being triggered not for the purpose of destruction, but it is only happening so that we can see our true selves. All links will be below for the program and for our Patreon. This will assist me to continue expanding what I'm doing to be able to reach more people. So I would really appreciate if this touched you, that you do something, whether it's a donation or Patreon and you sign up for one of the tiers, or you become a member of Mindset Reset Shame Detox, or maybe you just become a member to the website to stay in touch with us and whatever events, lectures, webinars, courses, meditations, and everything else that we're doing. But this was not a coincidence. And you don't have to do the work with me. I've given you so many things to begin with. So start there, if that was what resonated with you to do. This road is going to definitely be a roller coaster. But when you have the tools, it no longer becomes something that torments you, but it becomes something that you actually start to enjoy. And I can honestly say I'm in this space where I really do enjoy life. And that is the reason I started creating products, because I wanted the enjoyment of life to be an extension of the energetic field of the vortex that me and my guides have been creating, to be able to share that with y'all. So check out the products and be on the lookout for the religious detox. This is going to be a historical event for feminine energy to be able to rebirth the way it was supposed to happen. not the artificial way. Man, your third eye has just been kissed. Peace and power.